So welcome. Today we're going to talk about the 2017 G550 4x4 monster. This is going to be a review because I've actually been driving this thing a lot over the years. Every time I come visit my buddy Greg, I'm moving into my new place, so I'm just staying here for another couple more days. But look at this thing. It is insane. So my buddy Greg has done a Borley exhaust, which sounds absolutely amazing. He's also done bigger wheels and tires. This thing comes stock with 325 5522. This monster has a 22-inch tire, but a 22-inch wheel still, but a 37-inch tall tire. These things are monsters. Like, look how tiny it makes my GT3 RS look. Like, it just makes my car look absolutely small in comparison to how big of a monster this is. Borla exhaust, a little dirty, but we can actually get under this thing and take a look. It does have a 1016 Industries tune. Factory, this thing makes 416 horsepower with around, I think it was 440 foot-pounds of torque, if I remember. $450 foot-pounds of torque, actually. I just looked it up. Let's unlock this thing. It's so tall. To put into perspective how tall it actually is, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm 6 feet tall, and here's the top of this thing. It is insane. Lock it. Oh, wow. Greg always calls me a wuss because I can't open or close a door sometimes. Tons of room back here. He's got his golf clubs, even though he sucks at golfing. You gotta slam these doors. Very old school type of close where it's like you gotta slam the heck out of them. Tons of room in the back. I mean, if you're 6 feet tall like I am, sitting back here is not a problem. The only thing weird about this is the sunroof has like this the Alcantara on it, so you can't have the sunroof closed and have the light shining in. So this is like a part one of this review of this thing. Just had it freshly detailed too. Part one meaning we're gonna review this thing on the street, and then we're gonna review it on an off-road in like a part two. Get in this monster. First things first. The interior is very rugged in terms of it has this like everything's like just feels rugged. It feels solid. Yes, it still has luxury, but you know, just has this crazy brute feeling to it. Like, I'm gonna start this thing. Controls, you have different differential locks, so you know you can lock the differential, you can have it in a regular 4 high 4 low or locking. It's funny because the tires actually have bead locks, the bead lock look on them, but they're not actually bead locks, by the way. Even though they kind of look like bead locks, they're not. They're just kind of disguised to be that way, which is kind of cool, but it doesn't have bead locks. You have your sport and comfort settings. You have auto start stop, which I hate, so I turn it off. Put it in sport. Heated and cooled seats. But let's take this thing for a little drive around, see how it feels, listen to it. I'm gonna throw this camera outside. Gosh, I hope it does not fall off, but I'm gonna throw it outside. Get a nice outside clip of the exhaust. It does have a 1016 Industries tune, which bumps up the horsepower a little bit, and torque. But this thing weighs 7,000 pounds. It's not a light car by any means. 7,000 is a curb weight 6825, but with me in it, we're about 7,000 pounds. And it moves for what it is. 0 to 16 in under 7 seconds. But for this thing, once it gets going, it's like a freight train. It doesn't stop. So 0 to 55-ish. Let's see. Not bad. Not up to the speed limit. Just a pure monster. It is so fast for what it is. Turn on my cooled seats just now. Turn a little bit of AC on. But it's so tall, it's crazy. Like a lot of cars that I sit in, that I'm in, just in general, they just I don't know. They just don't do it like this. I've never seen, this thing just towers over people. Like I'm gonna go park it in a parking lot here in a little bit. This thing just towers over everybody. Like, look at this thing in traffic. We're just above everyone. I'm gonna have this car pass us next to me. It's funny. It really is pretty funny. And when I mean towers over everybody, it literally just, like, you're in traffic right now, and you're just looking over everybody like, hey guys, how's it going down there? If you have a 4x4 square, you need to get this wheel and tire setup. I will put in the description the exact wheel and tire setup that he has in this thing, because in my eyes, I mean, when I see a regular 4 square rolling around, which you don't see many of them, they're very like limited, you know, you don't see them very often. You know, they made them for a couple years and then they stopped making them. Supposedly there's a new 4x4 square coming out in the realm of Mercedes in terms of some of this rumor chat and talk. I don't know if there's a 4x4 square coming out or not. They're saying that it is, so I'd be curious to see. I'm going to do some more research on if it is, if there's a concept, etc. But the rugged feel of this, the hard closing doors, everything is just boom, bang. It feels like a Hummer H1 or something, right? I'm cruising by a regular G-Wagon right now, and this thing looks tiny. I'm actually, you know what? Oh, it's parked in the red zone. I actually wanted to really just pull up next to it and get a video of it. It looks like it's parked in the red zone though, but I'm sure I'll find another G-Wagon around here to make a video in a parking lot, because there's so many regular G-Wagons. There's no 4x4 G550 squares, that is for sure. This thing is a tank. This thing is a monster. I mean, the amazing part about this, I love the carbon everywhere. It gives it that crazy sport feeling, but it also still keeps that ruggedness. I love the handle on the dash here. It gives it, I don't know, just, it's hard to explain. When somebody says, like, what's your favorite SUV, this one is it. I love the Urus. I love doing the review on the Urus. I love it for what it is, but this thing just has so much character behind it. It's not something that's just going to pull into a parking lot that you're going to see a dime a dozen of. This is something that's so unique. And the wheels and tire setup and the exhaust make it even more unique. I'm next to this Raptor right now, if you can possibly see. And I'm towering over this Raptor, and he's got big wheels and tires on it. Just towering over him. And it's big. When it's rolling down the street, it just looks big. Another great feature about this that I love personally is I like the paddle shifters. I like being able to control the sound when you're going next to these restaurants and stuff, and you want to make some noise, or you're going on a drive and you know you kind of want to have a little fun with this thing while it's towering over people, and you're cruising through. Another thing is people move out of the way in this thing. They literally move out of the way, like move, and they see you coming behind you. They're kind of like scared. If you're coming back, if you're coming to a red light quick and somebody looks in the rearview mirror, they get a little scared. It's just such a badass car. It rides really smooth. I've noticed, you know, when you do put, it's in comfort mode, suspension mode right now. When you do put it in sport, it does get a little rough. You know, it gets a little more rugged, stiffens everything up. I'll show you this. I'll do a little walk around of the suspension here when we go behind these hills, but and I'll get out again. Suspension though, suspension is badass. It has like the dual piston. There's a name for the little the dual piston, the little oil supply that goes to the actual coil, or excuse me, the actual shock itself. So this thing's like bump and dampening is on point. It's stiff when you want it to be. It's soft when you want it to be. It's great for a long drive. It's great for a little like spirited cruise, but obviously you can't take corners in this thing. It's so top heavy. I mean, I took a corner fast and I was like, oh my goodness. We will do a part 2 on this thing though, definitely for sure. I don't know where we're gonna take it around here. Maybe we'll take it to Palm Springs somewhere. We'll take it to some desert roads or some, you know, hill climbs and stuff like that. I don't know where to take it around here, but in part 2, I'm gonna research a little bit after this where we can actually take this thing. But I feel like this is gonna be a great review for anybody that's looking to either buy one, wants to know what it's like. This person is going 5 miles an hour because they really want to see what this thing looks like. Won't let me get over. But this would be a great SUV for somebody that wants something just badass. I mean, I can't think of anything to compare this to be honest. I was trying to find something to compare it to. It's non-comparable. This truly is a non-comparable SUV. The G550 4x4 does not have anything else in its class to compare it to. I'm sorry. I mean, the only thing you can compare it to is a 6x6, which is also a Mercedes. So that's really it. I'm gonna pull into this parking lot here in this mobile area over here and see if we can find a G-Wagon in the parking lot to park next to. And it'd be kind of cool to show you guys a comparison. Like, check this out. Like, look at this thing in the parking lot. Like, can you spot the G-squared in the parking lot? Like, look at it in comparison to these other cars. It just looks humongous. So a little bit of specs on this thing. It is a 4-liter, 7-speed automatic trans. You just hit my head getting out because I have to like lift up to get out of this thing. It has a wider track. It literally has like axles from a damn bus. And these fender flares have to be so wide to meet this wider track. So this thing is 177 inches long. It's about 7 inches shorter though than a regular Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. But it also gives it a great turning radius. I don't even know what this ground clearance is, but I think since it's about 7 or 8 inches taller than stock, it's gotta be somewhere up in those ranges of about 7 or 8 inches higher. The suspension is amazing. The rear, just beefy. Dual coilover system on the front and the rear. The top lights are sick. The carbon all over this thing, on the side here, on the top. So all in all, my perspective of this thing, it's great. It's badass. You could daily it and have fun with it. But the hardest thing is, this thing is so damn tall. Even without the wheels and tires, this thing is so damn tall, you're not gonna be able to fit into a parking garage of any sort. To my knowledge, I've seen like 7-8 parking garages earlier in the last week. Can't fit into any of them. So if you know you're going to a place with a parking garage, don't drive it. Other than that, it's good. You can take it anywhere, you can do anything with it, and you will really enjoy something like this. And it has a cool road presence, parking lot presence. It has a very unique stance on this thing, and it's also has a ton of character. It also has a ton of character. You know, it's not like your normal car. It's not like your normal G-Wagon. It is something unique. It's something truly, truly awesome, and that's my take on it. So enjoy it. I'll see if I can find the specs on the tune. I already asked a little bit before this. I know it's a custom tune, so I can't find the specs. But that gives you a little gauge on this experience in this thing. And yeah, we'll do a nice off-road review soon, you know. Might not be soon. We'll have to plan a trip for this, but we'll figure it out. Maybe in the winter too. Take it up to Big Bear in the snow and see what it's like. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this little video. And part 2 soon. Have a good day, y'all. Oh, we got the Apple CarPlay here. I'd love to show you guys, but you see the distortion. Otherwise, I would have covered a little bit more, but these cars' new graphic systems, the way their LED displays are set up anyways. So you can enjoy my drive home.